Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 1 day time frame for Bitcoin, where we are still seeing this bearish divergence play out in the charts. And a bearish divergence is when you have higher highs in the Bitcoin price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator. Typically, a bearish divergence points towards a break from all of this bullish price action that we saw here recently, either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum on that 1 day time frame. And so far, since confirming this bearish divergence, we did see about a 9.5% dip towards that downside. So right now, this might feel like a little bit of a confusing time in the market, because what you're seeing is Bitcoin literally just chopping here and confusing traders. But really, this is just that bearish divergence playing out on the 1 day time frame. So let's take a look at some Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin on this 4-hour time frame for some potential levels of support and resistance to look out for right now. So I took this recent swing low all the way up to this recent swing high, and this will give us some Fibonacci retracement levels. Yesterday, we were kind of ranging in between this 0.236 Fibonacci level and this 0.382 Fibonacci level. The 382 is sitting at 96K, and there was a lot of news and stuff coming out earlier today, so that's why we were seeing a lot of volatility here on the lower time frame. So very juicy if you are the type of person that trades the lower time frames like me. Now looking at the current situation though, we actually bounced from that 0.5 level sitting at about 95K, came all the way back up to this 0.236 and then got rejected from there. So currently on the even lower time frames, this is in a little bit of a downtrend. So you can see it here on the 1 hour time frame, we got this bounce up from the 0.5, then got rejected. But so far, this on the 1 hour time frame is basically just a downtrend. But I mean, at this point, we are looking at the immediate short term here. So let's actually come back towards this 4 hour time frame and look at the broader picture of what is really happening in the charts. Most importantly, on this 4 hour time frame, even though we are in this downtrend, is to actually hold above this Fibonacci golden pocket sitting between 94K and about 93.7K. This is the most critical level of support to actually hold in the short term. In the case that we actually cut below that Fibonacci golden pocket, then we need to start looking towards potentially matching these lows or even undercutting these lows here to come grab some liquidity to the downside. And when I say liquidity to the downside, this is of course what I'm talking about. So you see a big pocket of liquidity here at about 94.3K, where we have about $400 million worth of long positions that would get taken out if we reach that level. Now there is liquidity as low as about 93.4K. However, after that, the next biggest pocket of liquidity to the downside is sitting already at 90.6K. Okay, so we're already talking about undercutting the lows here at that point. But I do think that in terms of time, we are getting pretty close to actually finding a low here sometime soon. Yes, we could see a bit more of a move to the downside to sweep some of that liquidity, but I do think in terms of time, we are getting pretty close to that window of finding a low. One more thing you may notice on this 1 month time frame is that most of the liquidity is in fact to the upside, and this liquidity just keeps piling up. So for example, right here, November 22nd, you see about $270 million worth of liquidity, and now on the same time frame, we have about $540 million in the present day. So more and more people are actually shorting Bitcoin right now. And I do think that simply just increases the odds of us actually getting another move to the upside at some point. Personally, as far as I'm concerned, the 100K top that we got here, I don't think that this is actually the cycle top for Bitcoin. I do think we have quite a bit of a ways to go. But of course, that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. One more thing I want to take a look at was this inverse head and shoulders breakout that we saw here over the last couple of days. I have been talking about this in my videos, and I do think that at this point, that breakout is actually invalidated. So in the beginning, this was actually looking just fine. We saw a breakout here, then a retest of this trend line. This could also have been considered a retest. We started getting a bit of a move to the upside. This could be considered the resumption after the breakout, retest, resumption from there. However, now we are seeing another pullback, And I think at this point it is fair to say that that breakout is actually invalidated. However, one thing we could actually keep in the charts is this descending trend line that we have been looking at over the last, I don't know, what is this, couple weeks or so. And as we saw here earlier today, this is now actually a level of support. So we broke above here, spent some time flipping it into a level of support, got a little bounce, and then we actually got a pretty nice bounce off of this level. So yes, this is now a level of support, this descending trend line here. And if we now, for example, cut below that level of support once again with confirmed candle closes, then that would be a warning signal in the short term. So for now, this descending trend line is just something I'm keeping an eye on in the charts here. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today. Unfortunately, there's no new data for December 2nd, for Monday here, because of course the Bitcoin ETF data is always 24 hours late. So therefore tomorrow I will check back in with this once again, because for example, recently we saw a lot of buying pressure coming from these Bitcoin ETFs. And typically this has an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. So therefore, this is just a nice extra little piece of data that is good to stay on top of. Either way, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.